Join Tara and Alyssa as they explore the intersection of business, lifestyle, health, and wellness. Whether you're an entrepreneur, a wellness enthusiast, or someone seeking a meaningful life, this podcast delivers insights and inspiration for living your best life, because true success is about more than just the bottom line. To stay up to date on our latest episodes, be sure to subscribe and like us on our channel and follow us on LinkedIn or Instagram at The Business of Living Well. Hey guys, welcome back to The Business of Living Well. Today we are sitting down with Emma McIntyre. She works at Folkways. She is a huge advocate for community, being involved, getting into clubs, all things essentially just being around people. Yeah, that was super fun to hear from her. She had made a joke of like how she started calling herself the community leader or community cheerleader. And it's, after talking with her today, like it's so true. Mm-hmm. She really is a community cheerleader. And she's even doing nonprofit things to get out in the community and to do events and talk with people and connect people. Yeah. And it's cool to hear because we don't do a lot of that with a lot of things being online and people kind of being more hermity nowadays. So I like that word, hermity. Because seriously though, like I feel like people, I don't know if it's just been in the last few years, but I think people will always, I don't know, they're not necessarily getting out as much. And I mean, you hear all the time that there's nothing to do in Fargo. And she said, if you think there's nothing to do in Fargo, please reach out to her because she will prove you differently. So it's just kind of fun to hear what is all going on behind the scenes and what some of these businesses are doing to try to bring people in and keep people here in Fargo. So yeah, it was a good one. Yeah. She even said before she moved away to Colorado and before she came back that she did really like living here because she didn't feel like there was a lot to do. Yeah. But now moving back, she has seen. And I think a lot of people that do live here, the one thing that I always hear is, why do you love living here? The community. Absolutely. And if you want to get yourself more immersed in the community, Emma is definitely the person to talk to because she does really know all the clubs and things that are going on. Yeah, super fun. So I'm excited for you guys to hear this one. Follow along. Emma McIntyre, welcome to The Business of Living Well.
Oh my gosh, hello. Thank you for having me.
We're so excited to have you. You're always just such a little light. I love being around you. You are the manager of development and partnerships of Folkway. Yeah. You serve on the board of Great Plains Food Bank. Yes. And you've recently been getting pretty involved in local politics. Overall, you are really, and I saw this on your LinkedIn, a community cheerleader. That's why you call yourself, and I love it. And we're so excited to have you here today.
Well, I'm super stoked, and your space is incredible. I just love it. It's so airy and welcoming, and is a lovely space. A great addition to downtown. Thank you for choosing downtown.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, it's people like you that make me want to be downtown. So,
who does? It's so fun. We love downtown.
It's amazing. Well, okay, obviously we're going to talk a lot about community today. And you work for Folkway, like Tara said. So obviously Folkways has just become such a heartbeat of Fargo's creative side and community scene in general. Tell us your why behind community and what got you involved with Folkways.
Yeah, absolutely. So I am from Fargo, born and raised. I left for college in 2016. I went to school at the University of Northern Colorado in Greeley. And prior to leaving, had attended TEDx Fargo. I got a free ticket. I was on the Fargo Youth Commission, which was like a youth commission appointed by the city when I was in high school. Really fun, really interesting. What got me into attending things like city commission meetings made me passionate about local politics. However, in that time, I was watching the co-founders of Folkways, Joe and Simone, host community events. And whereas I'd originally left Fargo to go to Colorado to escape Fargo, I had attended TEDx Fargo, which was a project Joe and Simone were working on, and it completely shifted my perspective on what it might be like to call Fargo home, and that there's truly a lot of opportunities that exist here for community building that I just hadn't seen others do. And then I saw somebody kind of around my age doing really cool things, and it fully shifted my perspective. So when I moved back post-grad, and was working at Emerging Prairie, it was obvious the work that Joe and Simone are doing between the farmers market, Night Bazaar, to make Fargo a great place to live. I don't know if I would have moved back if some of these things didn't exist. So it's very motivating to work on their team. It is my greatest honor to talk about all the cool work they've done. It is really incredible. So
Love that.
I think to myself every Saturday at the farmers market, I'm like, what would these people be doing if they weren't at the farmers market?
I don't know.
At home? They would be at home?
Yeah. Bars and grills.
The bars and grills. They would be at a bar and grill. Oh, with our abundance of them.
Yes. Okay, so was that like your pivotal moment into wanting to bring the community together, or have you always been someone who's wanted to bring people together?
Always been a big fan of people. Longtime fan of human beings. I was in student council in high school, and I mean, maybe that was the spark of bringing people together. I mean, you plan homecoming dances and blood drives, and that was always really inspiring and something that I found energy in. I would say maybe my early years interning at Emerging Prairie. I don't know if you're familiar with Emerging Prairie. They're another nonprofit here in Fargo-Moorhead working to connect the entrepreneurial ecosystem was like really the work they were doing when I was there. And watching that team and being a part of those really passionate individuals that wanted to make Fargo-Moorhead a great place to live and start a business was a huge spark plug in that. I love motivated people. Like just passionate human beings are something that make me pretty stoked. So helping them figure out how to make their projects and ideas happen. That's where I get a lot of energy from.
I love that.
Yeah.
People are so cool. They are. It's fun to hear them. Does Emerging Prairie do creative mornings?
So I was first introduced to Creative Mornings through Emerging Prairie, our graphic designer for TEDx Fargo. So my main project at Emerging Prairie was TEDx Fargo. So cool. I attended as a high schooler, completely shifted my perspective on Fargo-Moorhead, and then had a friend that recommended me as an intern. So I interned there and then got to run the project after my manager had left. It was like my whole identity was TEDx Fargo, which is kind of silly, but I was also 20 years old.
And that's really cool.
That totally tracks.
Fargo-Moorhead.
It was. I mean, it's one of the largest TEDx's in the United States.
Wow.
Yes. One of the next, at the time, I think the next largest one was TEDx Mile High, which is the one in Denver.
Oh my gosh. That's
Yeah.
so cool.
It's incredible.
Yeah. Okay, so you moved away.
Yes.
Back. What was it like building friendships, meeting people? How, especially post-college, when you didn't go to NDSU, so you didn't have a group of friends here. What was that like for you?
Well, fairly isolating. And not in a bad way. In a, I don't know, I would say in a personality building way. I think it was very important. I related a lot of my activities and the things I was involved in as my personality. So having that stripped of you, and then a lot of my friends went to school in the area, so they moved post-grad. So I was kind of in this in-between space of I was working a lot at Emerging Prairie, and when I had moved back I graduated college in 2020. So this is during COVID. I had two very dear friends at work, Darby and Andrew. Love them. They're incredible. We're all still good friends to this day. But figuring out how to make friends as an adult is a very unique position to be in. And how I approached it is I picked 10 people that I looked up to that were roughly my age in Fargo-Moorhead, and I got coffee with them, and I was like, what if once a month we all grab drinks and we just have this group of friends that meets once a month. We grab drinks, and my goal was I wanted more young people to start businesses. And if they have social ties, they're more likely to take big steps like starting small businesses or jumping into an entrepreneurial journey. And I think at one point we had 27 people on this calendar invite, and we were going to happy hours once a month or once every 2 weeks, just becoming friends and learning more about each other, because proximity and time is what creates friendships. And I think we met regularly for a year and a half, 2 years. And then I became really overwhelmed with it, and it was who's on the invite, who's not on the invite, it stressed me out. And so I'm jumping back into it again after maybe a year and a half, 2 years of trying to be a little bit more quiet. But that was my strategy, is I was like, well, I look up to these people, and we'll see. Be my friend is basically what it was. I'd be like, oh, well, let's get coffee and I'll see if you'll be my friend. I pitched it to them as an idea. I was like, what if we need more young people meeting and gathering to start small businesses? What if we all meet over happy hour?
I love that one.
It was my ploy.
Yes. I had attempted to do the similar thing. I started a thing called the Live Well Collective.
Yeah.
And I had kind of tried to get people together to like paint pumpkins or just do activities every couple of weeks or once a month, just to get people to get it. I mean, we live in such a busy world that it's harder to get together with our friends is if we don't put it on the calendar and like make this big thing about it.
That's what I joked. I was like, if it was not on the Google Calendar, it doesn't happen. And I would only manage this thing through Google Calendar invite.
Yeah.
And for a long time, I had said, like, invite everybody you know. And still super stand by that.
Yeah, that's...
But then you've got like 30 people on a calendar invite, and my problem is this thing called the dreaded, I call it the circle. We call it the circle, where everybody would just like slowly morph into standing in the same circle, having the same conversation. You can't do that. You can't do that.
Then you also feel like you have to give people topics, and like it has to be almost more formal at that point.
Yes,
and I can see how that's a lot of responsibility.
And that wasn't where my heart was at with it. I think especially with that initial intention of wanting people to use it to share ideas.
You wanted it to be more authentic.
Yes.
And it started to feel businessy and weird.
Yeah. I think that was the one thing is there was one specific happy hour where we did like introductions and it felt weird and I was like, that's it. And I got too scared. My number one strengths finder is empathy. And so I'm just really feeling other people's feels. And that was too much for me.
It's too far.
Yeah, it's too formal. And I did, I don't know if you're familiar with The Art of Gathering at all.
I've heard of it, yeah.
It's a book. Like a part of the book talks about you as the host are in charge of the invite list. And when your guests show up, they trust your invite list. And I was like totally banking on other people also making invites, but then I was not being trustworthy as the host to kind of help. Not like vet people, because I think humans are awesome.
Yeah.
I want everybody to be there.
Make sure it's worth people's time.
Yeah. And there is some level of curation and knowing, like, I know something about this person, so I know how they connect to my other friend and, like, helping them feel comfortable in that space. And I just didn't know how to help people feel comfortable in a space where I was knowing, like, less and less humans.
Yeah. I can see that.
Yeah, and I would do it again, and I'm jumping back into it. I just sent out a calendar invite last night. I went on vacation. I was feeling great.
I can take over the world.
Yes, and I'm making them less. I think everybody at that time I knew through work, so that was an added like layer.
Yeah.
These people I now know as friends, and so it's a lot more casual, and I've
Love that.
removed that pressure off myself because that was something that I put on myself and needed to not. But yeah, that was how I made friends, is I coerced them all into it and then made a Google Calendar invite.
You're coming to happy hour.
Yes. But now, as an adult and like knowing what I know with Folkways, I would encourage people to lean more on things like community clubs and organizations. There are so many great things that exist that we need to learn to become more reliant on them again, even though they might be a little uncomfy.
Yeah.
I think it's uncomfy at first going into a room of people that you don't really know regardless.
Yes.
But after you're there for, 10 minutes in,
it's so much.
Pretty much, you're like, oh, I sat in my car scared to go into this building for what?
And for what?
Yeah. It is the first awkward 10 minutes.
Yeah, especially if it's a club, though. You normally have interests, like similar interests with people.
Yes.
So then it's an icebreaker right off the bat, which is so fun.
That's the best part about clubs. There's a documentary that came out in the last year. It's called Join or Die. It's about the loneliness epidemic in the United States and how we are more separated and isolated than we've ever been. There's some negative health impacts that come with that. It's really hard on your heart to be lonely. But the solution is clubs. We used to have so many clubs. If you look at a Live in Fargo Moorhead brochure from the 1950s, my grandma is really big in history and has all these old Fargo brochures and artifacts. It talked about all the clubs. It's like, welcome to Fargo. We have a Kiwanis Club and a Lions Club and all these organizations that you can be a part of. But just as a society, we've kind of lost our connection to clubs, unfortunately. So
how important do you think it is? We're kind of shifting into a very online lifestyle, unfortunately.
Yeah.
How important do you think it is? You just kind of touched on it a little bit, with your mental health and everything, to get back and to do those clubs and to be in person with people instead of FaceTiming and talking on the phone. And
I know you have a lot of statistics.
Oh my gosh, so many.
Share 'em.
So many. This is the whole point of our work at Folkways, is we exist to combat loneliness and isolation.
Yeah.
The easiest invitation to bring somebody into community is through an event, and an event like the farmer's market. Everybody can associate with the farmer's market. I might not be going to the FM Flyers Club because I don't own an airplane that I can fly to Emma Flyers Club, but I can attain myself to a farmer's market. I think it's so important. There's a gentleman, he's a professor of happiness at Harvard. I'm missing his name right now. I'm subscribed to his email newsletters. I should remember this. It'll come back to me. But he shared recently at a presentation he gave at the Fargo Moorhead Theater, there's a certain dopamine that's only released when you make eye contact with other people, and that is necessary for your mental health. So I would say it is of the most important for you to be with people in person. I think digital communities are great because they allow you access to people with like very niche ideas that you also have. Yes. And they allow us here in Fargo Moorhead to have access to resources they have on the East and West Coast that we would not have prior because we're in the Midwest and we're a small city. But I think as far as social ties go, it's so important for them to be in person and are necessary for our physical well-being at the end of the day. So
I agree. And I think we do go in like waves because as you said, you kind of went in a wave of,
yeah,
I think I'm just going to step back from my happy hour and kind of just take a break. And I go through those phases too where I'm like, I'm not going to any events this month. I need a break. But then then you miss it though. You miss people and you miss the interaction and the eye contact.
And the eye contact.
Yeah.
You got great eyes, by the way. The both of you.
That dopamine probably does not hit from a Zoom meeting over camera.
No, I fear. I don't know if it works through screen.
Probably not.
I haven't looked into extended research, but we'll say maybe not.
That's so fun. Okay, so you talked about the loneliness epidemic in America.
Yeah.
Have you said there were a lot of clubs. Are you still seeing a lot of clubs now in North Dakota? Like where do you think North Dakota's at with this epidemic?
I think it's interesting because the people participating in clubs are not our age.
Yeah, I think they're older.
They're older.
Yeah.
I mean, my grandma's in have you heard of the Fine Arts Club?
Yeah.
I have, yeah.
Oh my gosh, they're so cute. They're so cute. They're on the outside of Island Park.
Yeah.
These little old ladies. They've got like a gardening club and a fashion club and a reading club. They've got all these clubs inside their clubs.
I love that.
And their heyday was like really when women were at home and they had the ability and time during the day to take care of their family and also go to this club activity. My grandma was in it I think she might still be a member. But the problem now is that their membership is dying. Like the women in their group are reaching like senior ages and they're not like recruiting new members because this is the crazy thing. They meet during the day because the ladies that are currently in the club cannot drive at night. They cannot see at night. And so they cannot meet at night. And so they have a hard time
during the day,
and most people are working during the day. We've shifted culturally to women are in the workplace. Which is great. And also if you want to stay at home, that's also great. Like whatever speaks to you, whatever works best for your family.
Absolutely.
But it's just hard for them to find and recruit new members. And in the digital era, it's really easy to get lost in the muck of social media. And if you think of the age of most of these social groups, they're not socially, like they're not digital savvy. Like they're not making Facebook events for all their meetings.
That's so true. They have to get together in person because they're not going to see each other otherwise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're just not reaching the next generation, which is a bummer. I would wonder the disconnect in like the era that I see missing in most cases is like our parents' generation. Mm-hmm. I'd be interested in their thoughts on it. Yeah. My dad's really big into clubs. My mom isn't as much of like a club gal, but she also worked full time when I was a kid. It was like the breadwinner of the family. So I can understand if that wasn't a priority.
That is true, because my parents were really into clubs when I was little.
Yeah.
The older I got, the less, well, now they're not in any clubs.
Yeah.
It's so interesting, the dynamic of probably how the whole world just kind of shifted in their generation.
You know, it's interesting. So the gentleman that did all this research on loneliness and isolation, he attributes the start of loneliness not to cell phones, it is to TV. You think of all the TV your parents watch?
Yeah.
And how that time could be spent hanging out at clubs. I mean, even if you're just like getting drinks with friends once a week.
Absolutely. Yeah.
At maybe your neighborhood bar and grill. Yes. Or hanging out here. Like that's even more important. You don't even have to have a club per se, but just like a regular human interaction space to meet. So.
What advice would you give someone who is struggling to find that connection, find their place in like our age? You said we're not really doing those things as much right now. So what advice would you give to those people that are not doing those things but feel like they want connection?
I would say join a club or start a club.
Yeah.
I always welcome the farmers market as a venue for gatherings. So I really, really, really next year want to do and we've talked about this on a team, but doing like a social public meetup at the farmers market where these two tables are people that want to make friends or they're feeling social and they just want to chat. Because it's hard to find places where people are just like, we don't dilly-dally really anymore. We don't really loiter. People don't loiter in spaces. But that's where you make... they get in and they get out. Like, our dwell time is so low. People aren't hanging out. And if you are hanging out, you're not, like, sitting there with the intention to chat with other people or maybe, like, make friends.
Yeah.
Let me tell you what. I offer to take people's garbage at the farmer's market. It's my favorite thing. To, like, take their garbage. Like, are you enjoying the market? Are you having fun? They look so distressed every time. Like, can I take your garbage? And they go...
Me?
Mine? And then they realize what's happening and they're like, oh yeah, take the garbage, it's fine. But like their first reaction is not,
are you sure?
It's not surprise and delight. It's more like terror and what is she doing with my garbage?
Why is she talking to me?
Why is she talking to me? Who is this woman?
She almost asking for
like what's happening? What is this? So opening ourselves up to spaces. Oh, let's say, I think you should join a club. And if you're not finding something that appeals to you, start it.
I like that you said that. I like that you said start a club.
Yeah.
They say that so often. They're like, oh, but I don't really see anything that I like. Well, then what do you like?
What do you like?
Just start it.
Because there's a lot of really cool clubs out there that you might have to do more than like a 5-minute Google search on. Or maybe like ask a forum on Facebook. We have a Fargo Moorhead area social forum. I mean, we've got an FM watercolor society and a garment club, and there are movie clubs, and there are like craft nights at Bruhala every other week.
Yeah.
And like there are so many niche interests that exist. Really go. And if it doesn't look like it might be your thing, still go and see what is missing and maybe what does it have. Be open to something that might not be exactly what you want it to be. Yeah. Because the beauty is that sometimes things are supposed to inconvenience you.
Yeah.
Because then you appreciate them when they don't, you know?
Yeah. I do think I've seen an uptake of book clubs though, I would say.
Yes.
And like, especially our age, just people using it as an excuse whether to get together and drink some wine.
Yes.
Or read a book and just chat about it.
Yes.
That's been fun.
Oh my gosh. And like Wild Tara does a cookbook club, which I think is really fun. Our breweries are like silently championing our culture here in the Midwest. The gatherings that they host, the events that they do, like so here in North Dakota, we have a high percentage of alcoholism. And I was saying maybe like a year ago, I was like, our breweries are championing our culture. And then I stopped and I was like, is it championing a culture of alcoholism? Like, I don't want to say that because that's not like a lifestyle I want to promote. And did a little noodling on it and realized like, no, the contrast between a brewery and a bars have like drink specials. Mm-hmm. And then they're always dark on the inside. They don't really let in natural light. You have one server that's dedicated to you and it's like closed seating. Like you're not walking up to somebody else at, I don't know, barcode and just sitting at their table. Whereas at Bruhala, if the tables are full, there's long tables. You're sitting next to people you don't know. You're asking them what game they're playing. Like if breweries force an inconvenience in some sort, that like there's not always a lot of places to sit, and you don't always get a server that runs up to your table. Like you have to walk up to the bar, and that creates more of that social connection. Mm-hmm. They are really like community hubs and spaces of gathering.
Yeah, I do love that. Okay. So, what do you think between having connections and belonging being so important, especially for adults?
Yeah.
I know you have a lot of facts at the top of your brain. We would love to hear some of those of just like keeping yourself isolated and not putting yourself out in the community. How can that affect your health and like long-term?
Yes, absolutely. Well, I love research. I think I'm like naturally an emotional person. I've done all the personality tests and I'm like, yeah, you got a lot of feelings. And so research and statistics always helps ground me personally, provides nice rationale. So the next time you're sitting at home and you're really not wanting to go out, a great motivator is, so some research that they've done on loneliness and isolation is they share that severe loneliness has the same health impacts as smoking 15 cigarettes a day, which... Right?
Yeah.
Wow. And we were told growing up that smoking is so bad for you, and we know that it's bad for our health.
Yeah.
But similar to our founder at Folkways, Joe, he shares like your wellness routine. You work out your arms, your legs, your core. It's kind of with your social well-being, as you have different levels of social needs that you have, and without tending to those, it's hard on your heart. It's hard on your health.
So interesting.
Yeah.
So true. I would say kind of like probably 5, longer than that. I don't know how long ago it was, but I used to be depressed. And when I would start to get in seasons of depression, I would shut down because I didn't want to like burden other people with my sadness. But then I noticed when I did that, it got worse because I wasn't talking to people. I wasn't getting that interaction.
Yes.
So I think even when people feel like they're isolated and then they shut themselves down more is probably when it gets worse.
Exactly. And it's hard because, I mean, that doesn't open you up on your best days to help other people when they're in need.
Yeah.
It's a good way to think about it, of when you isolate yourselves from others. I mean, we are humans that naturally love to help other people. Then you aren't providing the same hand when somebody else might need that themselves.
Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah. It's my weird, twisted way of like, I love being helpful, but I don't like asking for help.
Yeah.
Of rationalizing it in my brain.
Yes. I think that's a big thing for today. Like, no one likes asking for help, but people love giving help.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's awesome. I want to talk a little bit about what else you've been doing. So Tara mentioned earlier, are you on the board for the Great Plains?
Yes. Yeah. The Great Plains Food Bank.
Yes. Let's talk a little bit about, I'm sure you see a lot of kind of what's going on in the Fargo, North Dakota area. What does food insecurity look like here?
I think food insecurity looks different than how people think food insecurity looks. The food bank is currently feeding the most North Dakotans than it ever has, which is really unfortunate. I think it's 1 in 6 North Dakotans, maybe 1 in 5 North Dakotans, and 1 in 4 children. So families, I mean, if you think of individuals on fixed income, so we typically see a lot of seniors, veterans, families trying to make ends meet with the cost of food increasing and people's budgets not necessarily increasing. It puts them in a tough spot where they do need additional support with food and feeding themselves and their family members.
Yeah, I feel like it's hard. We don't necessarily see that side of things, which is super interesting. So what do you need? Like, what's your role as the board? What are you helping with? Outreach, helping. What do you do?
So the board for the food bank is very lucky because the food bank staff is incredible. So if you're not familiar with the Great Plains Food Bank, they are the only food bank in the state of North Dakota. The food pantries in the state essentially source their food from the Great Plains Food Bank. They've got a site in Fargo and they've got a site in Bismarck. And I think what makes them so incredible that people may not know is they do a lot of food rescue. So when Hornbacher's has boxes and boxes and boxes of food that they're not necessarily allowed to sell, the sell-by date is approaching, they will call the food bank, and the food bank will pick that food up and then automatically disperse it to food pantries across the entire state of North Dakota.
Yeah.
They go to all 4 corners of our state. They feed so many individuals that are in food deserts. We have a very interesting makeup here in North Dakota where there are, I don't know if you're familiar with food deserts at all.
Not really, no.
They are spaces where they don't have ready access to grocery stores, or maybe the grocery store that they do have is a gas station that accepts SNAP. Now, the food that they're receiving is not necessarily nutritious. They aren't able to have the same access to fruits and vegetables as we have here in, say, Fargo. But in Dunseith, they're not seeing the same type of food that we get to see.
Right.
And they may not have access to drive to Grand Forks or Devil's Lake to go take advantage of the grocery stores there. So there's a lot of individuals that need food and based on transportation or money don't have the ability to do so. And the food bank does a great job of meeting their needs and helping provide that access that they desperately need.
That's incredible.
Yeah, they're incredible.
Yeah,
they're so cool.
So amazing.
Oh my gosh. I just want to like shout from the heavens what good work they're doing. And they're getting their budget slashed right now. So if like anybody's feeling a gift for the holiday season, or if you want to ask for anything, and I know I get overwhelmed where I'm like, I don't technically need anything.
Yeah.
Ask for a donation to the food bank. I mean, $1 that you give there feeds children. It feeds children. It feeds seniors. It feeds those in our community that we need it the most. So
I love that. I feel like you have such a voice, and you make a big impact in everything that you do.
Thanks.
You also said you love politics, which
Local
you need a strong
politics.
voice for. What would you say to someone who is not feeling heard or has something to say and doesn't know how to voice it?
Start local. I love local politics. It's something that I want to spend more time on in the new year. I'm getting a fun dose of it right now with the convention center committee that I sit on. So there's a committee in Fargo recently approved a 4% lodging tax or a 3% lodging tax to go towards the building of a convention center here in Fargo-Moorhead, which is something we don't have. We don't have a convention center. We are the biggest city in the state of North Dakota. And it's the Fargo Dome. But the Fargo Dome is too big for certain conferences to be able to take advantage of. And it's been so interesting to be a part of and sit on that commission with those commissioners and other community members. I think that there is so much more room for people to get involved in local politics than you might assume. So much of the media that we consume, just naturally based on what's put in front of us, is national media.
Yeah.
It's not local media. And so it makes this national stuff feel so important and so big when there's really so much work you can do on the local level of like, go to a city commission meeting and sit through it and see what stands out to you. Maybe go to 3 or 4.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff on zoning that you might not know, and it does take a little bit of time to ingest and understand what it feels like.
And you're not going to always resonate with everything. I feel like you have to pick something that you actually care about too.
Yes. Yeah. And educating yourself on what's happening is really important. Education is power. I mean, that's what makes you feel passionate about it. It's not always the most fun to go through and understand what it all means, but it'll make you feel so much stronger in the place that you live and where you call home. It'll make you feel more connected to the place that you live.
Yeah.
So
I feel like with anything that you're passionate about, you kind of have to learn about it to be passionate, because otherwise you're just spitting random things that are probably not even true about it. So I think with not even in politics, like business, anything, you've got to know your stuff to be able to want to be passionate about it.
And I think what's really encouraging from a local politics level is it's bipartisan. You don't have to pick a side, which I think is the most daunting part about politics right now, because there's so much extremism in either way.
Yeah, so divided.
It seems so divided, and it's just really overwhelming. I mean, local politics, it's bipartisan, so it's not like you have to pick a side. Yeah. You're seeing which person resonates you with the most based on either where you live or the issues that you're really passionate about. Yeah, I think it's so fun. And we need more people to run. So if you're considering running, we check that out. A club that's involved in these things is the League of Women Voters. So I would need to go to League of Women Voter meetings so badly. The hard thing is they're on Fridays, and they're usually after creative mornings. So I've already been out of office for the mornings. So it's hard to commit another hour to go. My bosses are very kind and generous of my time, but it's hard to ask for a whole nother hour on top of that. Yeah. However, they do meet at the Sons of Norway, which is really wonderful, like very low stakes place to show up. Yeah. But it's a good way to learn more about local politics. You just got to jump in. You're not going to know everything right away.
Yeah.
They don't make beautiful, extensive videos on local politics on YouTube, I fear.
No. Especially around Fargo.
No, especially around Fargo. So, yeah.
That's funny. Well, clearly everyone can hopefully tell by now that you're the community cheerleader that we said you are. I think it can sometimes maybe be exhausting to feel like you're pulling everyone in and you're like, do this. What keeps you motivated and fills your own cup?
That's a great question. It's funny, the community cheerleader title on my LinkedIn comes from when I worked at Emerging Prairie. I was hitting burnout and I was like, okay, I need to leave. But I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do next, so I took a month off. Yeah. And in that month off, I was still going to community things and showing up at events all the time, and people would ask what my job was. Mm-hmm. And I didn't have a job, but I was unemployed by choice. Yeah. And so I just put community cheerleader in my job title. I don't know. I haven't moved it since then. It just has kind of stayed in that space.
It needs to stay.
Yeah. It wasn't cool enough in high school to be a cheerleader. So now I'm just finding myself in other ways. I think what gets me motivated is in Fargo, we are a big enough community to make substantial impact, but small enough that as a young person, you have the ability to get things done. Yeah. Which is encouraging. And it feels rewarding to give back to a community where you see potential in. I mean, it would not be the same to do had I chosen to stay in Colorado. To be a community builder in Denver is very different than being a community builder in Fargo. Yeah. we've got 2 little sisters. I'm really passionate about making some sort of an impact and making the world better for them, or making them love Fargo in a way I never did.
I love that.
And do now as an adult, but like
Yeah.
did not when I was their age.
Yeah.
So yeah.
You do a lot between kind of everything. You do a lot of events, a lot of you're hosting your own events. And so when you go home at the end of the day, are you excited still, or do you need to decompress? Like, what kind of, I know there's a lot of introverted, extroverted people, and we kind of put ourselves in a box, but I feel like there is more than one box, and there's in between. So I know, talk to people who are feeling like they love going to events, but then don't love the burnout of going to events.
Yes, it's certainly a balance of being able to manage, and you have to see the joy in going to those things. Like sometimes the thing is of this summer. So I do creative mornings. It's a monthly meetup we host at the Plains Art Museum. It's something I do entirely volunteer. It's separate from my work at Folkways. But I love it. It's so fun. It's kind of like Startup Brew, really low stakes. And we get people from all across the community to come in and speak on a selected topic provided by this national program. It is always the Friday after Night Bazaar. And that's just how it shakes out with the dates and the Plains Art Museum and our work schedule. So our team's really nice, where I leave at like 10 p.m., but then I wake up and I'm at the Plains Art Museum at 7 a.m. And every time I'm laying in bed at 11 p.m. and I just dread waking up early the next morning, and then I get to the Plains Art Museum and my perspective completely shifts, and I love it and I have a great time. So sometimes it's just as much as getting yourself there and enjoying it, but have recently found out in the last year that I'm much more introverted than I thought I was. And my boyfriend, my partner Lane, he's incredible. He's more introverted than I am. And he recently shared with me, he's like, I just need like 2 nights at home a week.
Yeah.
Which is so valid. 2 nights at home a week. That's so
even
valid.
asking a lot, I feel like.
He said that, and I was like, I've been shot. You hate me. My whole personality. I love people, and I love all these things. And then I realized, like, I love sewing too, and crocheting, and I haven't been able to do those in months.
Need that down.
Because I'm not at home as much as I probably could be for my own mental health. And I'm just very intentionally like living and dying by my Google Calendar. We do a weekly schedule run through of like, okay, what are all the things we have going on this week? And that's caused me to be much more mindful about what I'm signing myself up for. And his initial proclamation that we need to spend 2 nights at home that crushed me is like actually so real. And it's been really helpful. And I'm really grateful to have a partner that kind of checked me on that. I don't know if I would have listened to anybody else. I would have been very offended. And after coming down from being offended, I was like, yeah, you so right.
Right.
And it's been really helpful.
These 2 nights.
I do really like it. And the 2 nights have expanded into like 3 or 4 nights, which is great with the flex night, you know. My family fits in the equation a different way. It's okay.
Yes. Absolutely.
So
sometimes you need to take that step back. And, okay, wait. And there's seasons, I think.
Oh,
we talked about that too. Like, you have the time now, so take full advantage of it. But you might want to step back again in a couple of years, or who knows?
Exactly.
And I think that's okay. Putting your boundaries up for other people is so important, because not that people will always walk over you, but people like to take advantage of time and boundaries. So I think once you're setting those for yourself, then it sets up for other people too. And then, for your own mental health, like I don't know if I could go to 12 events in 1 month. I think I would be so burnt out. And then once you learn that boundary, then okay, I cannot go to 12 events or I will be burnt out.
No, you're like, I get to go to 12 events this month. Instead of being like, oh, I have to do all these things. Like, okay, I get to do this much.
I know that I'm capable of this much, so I'm going to put this much on my calendar. And I'm excited to, because I know I won't be burnt out.
Yes, and it's made me much more specific about what I say yes to and what I don't say yes to. I'm like, I have friends that I haven't hung out with in 3 months that I need to spend time with. I don't need to be hanging out with new people every other week.
Absolutely.
Because then I'm not honoring the friendships I have. So
I think when we're younger, we are like, go, 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 trying to do all these new things, meet all these new friends. But then as you get older, you kind of go backwards and you're like, well, actually, I only like these 5 friends and I'm just going to rotate hanging out with them and only these events. And you start saying no to things, and it actually feels good to say no to things, because you know that you're going to burn out your battery doing them, or too many things.
Well, then you can pick the ones that you actually are passionate about and that you actually like and feel like your time is not being wasted, but just you get to be more selective, which I think is
more excited to go to.
Yeah.
Because you know that you're
Then they don't
love
they don't take
much calendar.
Yeah, they don't take up so much energy because you're like, oh, sick. Okay, I'm like, it's a nice balance of I'm gonna do this new thing and I'm gonna hang out with this group of people. I've noticed if it's a new person that I want to be friends with, but I'm at my 3 event max for the week, and it's not like hard set. That's not hard set, but it is a reminder to myself to be more focused. More focused and aware is I'll do group hangs, and then I toss that person on a group hang, and I'm like, and then I still get to spend time with that person, but it might not be like the one-on-one time I initially wanted, but I want them to know that they're important and a part of my life.
Exactly. I think that's so. We get in an era where we have these different friends.
Yeah.
And it feels weird to have them all hanging out at once, and the only time that you hang out all together is like someone's bachelorette party or something like that. But why don't we all?
Just do it. It's not
love
that weird.
I think that every friend group you should all meet and all be friends because I love you all and you're all good humans, so why not?
Exactly. As long as you put it on yourself as the host to be like, oh my gosh, this is Darby, and you and Darby have the same thing in common. And I think that's what you should, as long as you give them like a talking point that like helps them in that connection, I think that those things are so fun.
Yeah. Well, speaking of events, tell us all of the fun things that are coming up.
Oh my gosh, there's so many things. If anybody says there's nothing to do in Fargo Moorhead, I would like to have a one-on-one.
I will send them your email.
meeting.
Emma has some news for you.
I have some news I'm gonna start doing like monthly seminars on like, here's all the cool things happening this month. You guys can all chat on if you want to go to things with other people. This month is incredible. I mean, at Folkways we're wrapping up the last few weekends of the farmers market, which is really fun. We go all the way through the end of October, which I think people don't generally realize. The farmers market
they think it ends like right when fall starts.
Yes.
It actually goes way longer.
Oh yeah, bundle up, come hang out with us. Wear your cutest sweaters downtown. I love market outfits. They're my favorite. I look like a crazy person. I'm walking down Broadway. I'm like, I love your sweater. I love your outfit. But everybody comes dressed to the nines at the farmers market. So come and hang out with us at the farmers market. We've got our last night bazaar of the year, the Thursday before Halloween weekend. So Halloween is on a Friday. I don't know if you've made your Halloween plans yet.
Not yet.
Okay, well, on the Thursday of Halloween weekend, to ease you into a Friday Halloween, which is like crazy. You'll come hang out with us at the night bazaar at Brewhalla. So we do 2 Brewhalla ones a year. Come in costume. The farmers market is a produce market. The night bazaar is like an artist market, artist vendors. We do live music. We encourage people to come in costume. The theme is spook, obviously, because it's Halloween. And then we're getting geared up for Chris Kindle Market,
That's
which
my favorite. I love it.
isn't it? How would you describe it?
Like Christmas in a jar. Yeah, that I love the fire pits. I love all the like warm little drinks.
Well, prepare yourself. We are making improvements this year. We're getting new huts. We are revamping the beer hall space. We're redoing our food situation.
Love it.
Incredible. Like
I'm so
only getting better and better. So we've got Chris Kindle Market coming up. It's the weekend before and the weekend of Thanksgiving. So we encourage people to plan your Thanksgivings around it. Like if you've got family in town,
bring them.
just plan for that Friday.
The best place to bring people.
Exactly. And then you kind of get out of the house, but you're not like, I don't know. Really out and about. You can mosey. Come mosey. Please. I'm begging.
Come on a walk with your family.
Come
Make some
mosey.
s'mores.
Yes. People walk up and down the farmers market and they're like, well, that's all there is. I'm going home. And I'm like, no, sit and listen to the music. Chat with the person you're hanging out with. I mean, come visit here on a farmers market day. So we've got that. I'm trying to think of other things. Creative mornings this month is going to be really fun. So the day after Night Bazaar on Halloween, we have our creative mornings. The theme is soft, which is interesting for a Halloween creative mornings. But our speaker is 2 bluebirds. She's a pet psychic, which is going to be really fun. Like what a good, and I've heard some very, very, very convincing testimonials of people like friends that I have that have visited her who've had conversations with their pets. So like she talks to...
Are these pets alive or is she talking to like passed away?
I do think she also talks to pets who have passed, but the ones that I've like talked with other people about anecdotally are pets that are still with us.
Interesting.
Yes, I think you both would really drive on this.
curious what Sammy is saying.
It's
I
crazy.
just want to know what Mile on Earth cheers.
Yes, I was like, do we get like a Creative Mornings like code for $50 off our pet reading? Because I think that no, she does. She like taps into whatever it is, and she talks to your pets.
I love that.
Yeah, our photographer for Creative Mornings, she did, I think, her promo photos, and in exchange did a pet reading with her dog Filson. And they learned about like why Filson gets so anxious when they leave on long trips. And so they've been able to cater to Filson's need when they leave. Yeah, it's really cool.
So
Interesting. I would love that.
Yeah,
I think Sammy has a lot to say.
I was going to say he's so chill.
you never know.
You don't blame me enough.
Another friend asked how old is Sammy?
9.
9. So she asked, as her dog is aging, are there things that she can do to help?
Oh,
And said that she like really
cry.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh, my dog's already 6. I'm gonna tip over. I can't handle it. So Creative Mornings is gonna be really fun. But I mean, Farmers Market, 9 Bazaar, Creative Mornings,
all the things.
all the things.
coming
Yeah. If you need to hunt me down if I haven't responded to an email, you know where to find me.
There we go.
Find her at one of the events.
Find me at one of the events, and then hold me hostage, and I'll schedule the Google Calendar invite.
Love that.
Yeah.
With so many events and everything going on, to keep yourself grounded
Yeah.
and kind of just you, what does living well mean to you?
I was thinking about this because I was looking at your past interviews.
Last question every time.
Every time. For me, it is having a day to reset. I need to have a day to reset. Whether it's like I'm doing my laundry, I'm vacuuming up all the dog hair in my home,
Yeah.
I'm making sure there are no dishes in the sink. My physical space has to reflect some sort of reset, cleanliness, and then everything else in the week feels so much more doable.
That's so true.
Yeah,
it
The
is.
Sunday resets are they're so true. They're
So necessary.
physical moves into the mental health
Yeah.
so fast.
Yes.
I get anxious and just like if my house is a mess.
Yes.
I read an article somewhere that was if your space, like this was more about offices and
Yeah.
desks, but if your space is messy, your mind is messy. So when your space is clean, your mind feels clean. Because otherwise
Yes.
you're constantly thinking about those things that still need to be done while you're also trying to go to events and immerse yourself in the community and
Yes.
stuff like that.
Give me some level of control.
Yeah.
I think is what it is. I get some control over my space, which gives me some control over things that I can't control everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
I love that.
Well, thank you for being the person that you are and advocating for downtown and Fargo in general. It's so fun.
It's my greatest honor. It's really cool. It's a fun spot to be in. So thanks for asking me to join.
Yeah.
This
we're
is so
grateful
cool.
for you.
Oh my gosh. Wow.